Hey guys, welcome back to Bre2 here today with a new video. Today taking a look at another Marvel Rivals guide, this time with Namor. Namor is a DPS character that plays a little bit slower than the rest, and you kind of want to stay with your team, less about diving in when compared to some of the other characters. He plays a little bit like 𝐻𝐿a in the sense that it's sort of like a marksman rifle kind of gameplay. I think he's one of the characters due for a bit of a buff because in general you would want to just play 𝐻𝐿a over him. But he does have some really cool abilities that allow you to sort of protect your backline and your healers and stuff passively without having to actually focus on them, which can make him a pretty strong pick, especially on something like payload. Let's start with Namor's synergies and team up abilities. Right now the only one that he has is with Luna Snow. Now if you're going to play Namor, you want to have a Luna Snow because this is one of those ones that gives you a whole new ability that you can use, and it's quite good. So if you see someone pick a Luna, good time to play Namor and vice versa. That adds the frozen spawn ability on your C key that allows you to spawn an extra monstro. We'll talk about the other ones later, but this one is an ice powered one that can slow enemies as well as damaging them, and it brings your total monster spawns from 2 at max up to 3, which does make quite a difference, especially when this one's a little bit powered up as well. Now moving on to Namor's abilities. Now his first ability and main attack is on left click, the Trident of Neptune, that tosses a trident forward and reduces Aquatic Dominion's cooldown upon each enemy impact. Now Aquatic Dominion is on your E key, we talked about it earlier, and it allows you to summon a monster that can autonomously attack enemies nearby. Now this is the thing I was talking about to sort of protect your flank, because you have 2 of these, and as you heard, every time you hit your left click on impact with an enemy, it will give you a faster cooldown on your next one. These each have their own health pools as well, and they attack on their own at whoever's closest or on whoever you hit with your right click, which we'll move on to in a second. But you want to throw kind of one of these behind you usually, one of them in front of you, just to pick off any enemies that are sort of straggling or trying to flank. It's good to have one in the back lines to sort of protect your healers, since they do a lot of damage, actually more than you would expect, and most people are going to ignore them, which will lead to some easy picks that way. And if you're hitting your left click, then these things getting destroyed doesn't even really matter because the cooldown comes back pretty fast. And you can use your frozen spawn one with your team up ability, giving you a third one as well. Now as I mentioned, you also have a right click called the Wrath of the Seven Seas that throws a trident forward and damages nearby enemies in a sort of AoE, and also directs all your monstro spawns to attack that nearest hit enemy from your right click. So if you're trying to burst someone down, you can throw out a couple of dominions and maybe your frozen spawn as well. If you hit them with the right click, all your monsters are going to shoot at them as well, and of course you're piling on top with your left click, so it's a good way to burst down a tank enemy. Namor also has Blessing of the Deep on his left shift. Now this is going to summon a protective barrier while flying upwards that shields you, but it completely freezes you in spot as well. Now you do not heal while in this, but you can be healed while you're in it, so it's good to have some communication with the healer, because this isn't going to heal you or protect you and you're going to be rooted in place, but it can save you from any sort of damage. So if someone's going to hit you with an ultimate like Wanda's ult or Storm's ult, or if you're just about to die from one more hit or something, you can hit shift, fly up in the air, and be completely safe for 5 or 6 seconds. Allow your healers to give you some time to heal, or maybe push the enemies back a bit, something like that. It's just a sort of last ditch effort to try and save yourself. But if you're already in with 6 enemies around you, they're just going to wait for you to fall back out and then finish you off. So you got to be kind of safe with how you use it and communicate with your healers to the best of your ability. Now finally, to his ultimate ability on Q is the Horn of Proteus that summons 𝐷𝐴𝐺 to leap atop enemies within range. Now this ultimate is a candidate for a buff in my opinion. It just doesn't really do much damage. It's either you buff this or you nerf all these insta-kill ultimates in my opinion. But as of right now, it can be pretty good because it comes back pretty fast compared to most ults. You can get it pretty quickly, and it does cover a very large area. When using this, also it's going to blow the horn. It'll show you the area it's going to impact in, and then 𝐷𝐴𝐺 will sort of jump out like a big whale jump and splash and land there. And you can actually hit people out of the air with the actual jumping motion of the whale. So there's a bit of finesse to it. You can get people out of the air, you can get people who are on the ground if you angle it correctly. It's going to hit that huge area, do a bit of damage, more so in the center, and then it's also going to knock down everyone there and stun them for a couple seconds, like maybe 1 or 2 seconds, which allows the rest of your team to sort of converge in and get some easy picks that way. So it isn't exactly like a team wiping insta-kill kind of ability, but it's enough because of how fast it comes out to surprise a group of enemies, knock them on their ass, and then your team can finish them off. And that's pretty much everything for Namor. Those are all his abilities. He's kind of straightforward. You're just going to want to keep your Dominion spawns, your Monstros up as much as you can. Anytime you don't have 2 or 3 with Luna going at once, you're going to want to throw out, you know, however many you need to get back up to that maximum amount, because then as you're landing your normal attack, when one of them gets destroyed, you can just throw out a new one, keep hitting the normal attack to shorten the cooldown, and just keep the Monstros at like maximum amount at all times to keep your damage output as high as you can. And like I said, it's really good for just like if you have any melee characters on the enemy team that are diving, your healers or stuff like that. These basically work as like turrets, little sentries that will watch, you know, you can put them on a flank, on an off angle, you can put them on their spawn side of a site if you're trying to capture a site, and they're going to let you know if anyone's coming. They're going to get damage out easily without you having to worry about it, and the enemies are going to have to stop and kind of deal with them on the way to the rest of your team. So there's a little bit of finesse to playing Namor. I do still think he's on the weaker side. I think they should buff his main attack or give you some sort of melee ability as well. I think playing with the trident and only being able to throw it is a little bit underwhelming. I wish you'd kind of attack with it. He's also definitely viable to be made into one of the flying characters, since Namor normally can fly and he does have the winged shoes in this build of the game. But who's to say? There could be really anything they change between now and launch or the closed beta, and anything that has been changed I'm going to pin in a comment down below. Any sort of like major ability changes or buffs or nerfs or stuff like that are going to be pinned down there, so check those out if you're watching this 6 months or a year from now when the game comes out or something like that. But that is going to have to do for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Let me know what you think of Namor down below, and if you want to see any other Marvel Rivals content, be sure to subscribe. I've got a video up of all the characters. That's the plan. We're going to do a guide for every single one, and then lots of new gaming videos coming all the time. Thank you guys so much. Love you. Bye-bye. Layla, stop. You're too crazy. You're too crazy. I'm trying to... Ah!